Okay, buddy. Actually, the picture on the donut trailer is my mom.
We will show God's love to customers by serving them the best donuts we can because everyone needs a touch of love.
We're praying for them even though we don't know exactly who we're praying for at the moment, but we're still praying for every customer. And we want every customer to know that.
My first thing I ever baked was brownies. That was the start of my baking career. Later, Mom got me to making bread, and that was where I learned the whole art of working with dough. I would have been 15 years old. I started working at a bakery that was locally there, and I made the bread at the bakery. So that was my first bakery experience. But then while I was there in Tennessee, Martha came looking for me. So you did. When we first met, we were at a youth function, a Bible study that night, and it was the first time she was ever there. And she was asking her co-teacher, who's this, who's that, who's the other, and she was telling her the whole story, everybody, she would say who they were. And when she asked her co-teacher who I was, instead of saying who I was, she said, "James." I was getting ready to go out the door. And I thought I heard my name, and I was like, who called me? And yet I wasn't sure, and I said, "James." I said, "What?" And she goes, "Martha here wants to know who you are."
I felt like falling through the floor.
I walked over to her, I said, "I'm James Beachy. I'm the only one of my family that's part of the youth here right now," and just kind of told her a little bit about myself and left it. I thought it was funny because we had done, in our youth group, we had pulled that stunt on others already before. But on the way home, it crossed my mind, that'd be an interesting way to meet my wife. But it wasn't until about a year later that things got serious, and we started a courtship, which ended up later marriage, and here we are today.
Leonard is the oldest, then it's Quentin and Fred, and then Vernie, and then Geneva, and then myself.
Then when I stopped teaching, I went into garage doors for a while. Construction world, it's not me. Eventually went into Choice Books, which was delivering inspirational books throughout the Pacific Northwest here. And I was there for 12 years before we decided to do something different, primarily because of my health issues. And that's where I started dealing with a lot of pain, and we started chasing doctors, trying to figure out where the pain was coming from, what was going on, and ended up finally headed to Mexico because we had family that had been in Mexico before and had very good results and fast turnaround of testing and that kind of thing. So on my 40th birthday, we headed to Mexico. And that's where I discovered that I had a liver disease that was eating my liver out from the inside out. And I ended up having my gallbladder taken out at that point. But with 5 to 17 years life expectancy and the pain I was dealing with, I wanted something for my family to be able to continue on. I didn't know if I would be able to work within 5 years or not. And so we started praying about something to do. And talking with one of my friends, we had the idea of possibly doing a hydroponic greenhouse or something like that here that we could do at home. And I knew one of my friends had done that. And he says, that's really a lot of hard work and it's a lot of overhead to get into. May I give you another suggestion? And I said, sure, what's that? He goes, why don't you make donuts at a farmer's market? And I'm like, well, I hadn't thought of that. Tell me more. And so he had been making donuts at a farmer's market in Missouri, and he helped us get a list of everything that we would need to get started. He suggested we start in 2 10x10 canopies and just set up in there, which would be a lot cheaper to start, and we can feel, is this gonna go or is it not gonna go? So we prayed about this, and it just seemed that God was opening up the doors for us to do that. And so in the spring of 2016, we started the farmer's market, and that was our Our first farmer's market was Gresham Farmer's Market. The first market day, the second batch that we made, my mixer locked up. It totally quit. We couldn't do anything. I mixed 7 batches of dough that day by hand. Thanks to the experience I had at home in making bread, I had an idea of how to do it. And obviously it doesn't turn out as good when you're doing it by hand as it does when you're doing it with the mixer. But we had donuts. We set up chairs at the back behind where we were working, and the children would sit back there or help wherever they could in the donut process.
I wanted to do it. I'd ask if I could do it, and then after a while it was just like, do I really have to clean the mixer? I'd rather do something else.
It was a lot for us. I mean, we didn't know what to expect, and so we had somebody that was mixing, we had somebody that was cutting out donuts, somebody else that was frying them, and somebody else that was glazing them. And that's something that we have streamlined now to.
First we mix the batch, and then we take that dough from the mixing bowl and flip it into another big bowl. We have to spray that bowl first so that it doesn't stick when you flop it out. But then you stick that big bowl of dough into the proofer to rise for a while.
Then you get that dough out and flip it out onto the counter and pat it out to the right thickness. And then we have a can that we use to punch out the donuts. And then we use a pill bottle to punch out the holes. And then we stick the donuts, we put them on pans and we stick them in the proofer to raise a little bit.
And then from there, we take them out and put them over by the fire, and we pick them up and put them each individually, put them into the fryer. And then we flip them and let them drain a little bit, and then put them over on the pan to cool and get more donuts out to put in the fryer. And then while those donuts are frying, we glaze the others.
After we glaze 6 donuts, then we go back and flip the donuts in the fryer and then come back and glaze the 6 that are left on the tray.
We had to get there by 5 o'clock, right? Soon after 5, because we had to get the canopy set up and set up our entire system before we could mix a batch of donuts, because that canopy was our licensed kitchen. We did not have a licensed kitchen, so everything had to be done inside the canopy. And so 5 o'clock in the morning, we had to be out there to make so that we could get the dough mixed and proofed in time to have donuts ready by 8:30 when the market opened up. Well, by the time that day got finished, we had to wash all the dishes inside the tent because we did not have a commissary kitchen, and so everything was stored in a trailer. We had our hand washing station. Some of those things are things that we don't even think about anymore because we have a nice kitchen. At first, we just put hot water in totes and thought this would last. Well, mid-morning, that water's cold, especially as you're getting into the cooler time of the year. The water was cool enough. The dough didn't want to proof right. It just took a long time. Even in the proofer, it had to heat up. So when we discovered the tea kettle, the electric tea kettle, and how that changed our whole dynamics of how the dough would raise, we could have hot enough water to wash dishes at the end of the day that we could cut all the sugar. Those were hard years. They were tough, but God gave us grace to get through those, and here we are today.
The worst thing about stepping out of the donut trailer, I love the customers. And to be with them, I miss it. I miss it to this day.
Basically, she started dealing with a torn rotator cuff and got to the point where she could not be taking donuts off the tree. The reaching up was really getting to her. When Martha stepped out, all 3 girls, Vernie, Geneva, and Greta, were still working with us at that point. And so at that point, my goal was that they would learn how to do everything in the trailer so that if for some reason I can't be there, they can go on with it. And Vernie did that for years. She pulled the trailer and actually pulled the trailer to a spot, set it up, and the girls worked that day, and I could take a day off.
And some days we might not feel like putting any love into the donut. That's why we need God's love to put into the donuts.
There was one time we tried to do a third event in a week, and it was just too exhausting because of all the work that went in that. And yet it was getting busy enough. We had a big enough base of customers that we were like, I think if we went ahead and pulled the plug on it and actually, bit the bullet to do a trailer to cover that cost, I think we could go ahead with it. Well, it took a lot of the work out. It took about an hour's worth of workout in the morning, actually an hour and a half in the morning, and about an hour in the evening of work that we didn't have to do. And that just made it so nice. It just gave us a totally different look, and it caught a whole lot of attention. And Gresham Market has been great, and we won't be going anywhere else on Saturdays. Gresham Market is our place for Saturdays.
I just think it's pretty awesome that they will stick in line for 10 to 20 minutes for their donuts. And I know it's more than just a donut they're getting too.
One of the key ingredients to making our donuts taste good is the coconut oil. The coconut oil totally changes the flavor, and it does not leave a bad taste, and neither does it leave a knot in your gut when you're done eating it.
We had eggs in our donuts when we first started, and there's always a time you will forget an ingredient somewhere. I don't think we've ever forgotten the flour. That would be an impossibility. But we have forgotten sugar, we have forgotten yeast, I think we've forgotten salt, but we have forgotten the eggs that one day. And the donuts still turned out great. We have a lot of people that are allergic to eggs. I didn't realize it was as big a thing, but there are. So we have a lot of people that are allergic to dairy. There's a lot of people that are allergic to soy, peanuts. We don't have any of that in our donuts. And we've done the same thing with the wheat-free donuts. We created a wheat-free donut. It is not a totally gluten-free because it's fried in the same oil. There's flour floating around in there. There's cross-contamination, but we do our best to cut that contamination down as much as possible. And there's a lot of gluten-intolerant people that can handle our wheat-free donut. Wheat-free works totally different than a regular gluten donut. And so we finally got to the point where we figured out exactly how much dry ingredients and how much wet ingredients. We mix all the dries together, all the wets together, and exactly how much it takes of each of those to mix together to make one donut. So I can make one wheat-free donut, or I can make a dozen wheat-free donuts. And it's great because I'm not wasting a whole batch when I only have a few that I need to make. The very first flavor that we came up with that was not a glazed donut was the apple cider donut. And one of our customers came to us out at the Gresham Market and said, you need to make an apple cider donut. We've had them somewhere and they are so good. I said, well, what does it take to make an apple cider donut? How do they do it? I don't know, I guess they just use apple cider. And so we started playing with using apple cider in the dough. And we were like, there's gotta be spices in there somewhere. And so we started pulling some spices together. We came up with 4 spices, allspice, nutmeg, cinnamon, and cardamom. And we played around with those seasonings on how much we were putting in. And we made 2 different batches, one with one set of seasonings, another with a different amounts. And then we actually had those donuts available at the Gresham Market for customers to choose which they liked. So we had the one of each donut there. We had cut it up in pieces. The customers could choose. They could taste both of them and put a tally mark which one they liked the best. And the one they liked the best is the one we went with. The glaze we made with apple cider. So that just really tops it off. And I discovered later, this apple cider donut is not like any other apple cider donut out there. I mean, most people, when they think of an apple cider donut, it's a cake donut and it's cinnamon sugar. I had no concept of that because I didn't know what this apple cider donut was supposed to be like. But we came up with this apple cider donut that is one of my absolute favorites. The next year, we decided we're gonna try a blueberry donut, and we just did a little bit of cinnamon and nutmeg Not a whole lot, but just a little bit. It just kind of adds to that flavor. And we did the regular glaze. I think the next flavor that we actually added was what our Mexican donut is today. We had a lot of Hispanic people coming through asking for either cinnamon sugar on the donuts or just sugar on the donuts. And it didn't register with me why, until one time we were in Tijuana walking through the street at a street market, and there was a donut maker there, and that was the only option they offered for their donuts was cinnamon and sugar. And I'm like, that's why they're asking. And so we came home and we made the Mexican donut. And that is one that we have as a common staple every time we make donuts. Later, we developed the strawberry donut. That one was kind of a combo between the guy that helped us get started and myself. We worked together on that one. They actually came up with the recipe on that one before I did. I shared my apple cider donut recipe with them, and we've worked together. We share our recipe, he shares his. We tried a peach donut and it fell flat. We tried hard. We tried so hard, and it just never would come out with the flavor. The blackberry was, at first when we tried it, it was a semi-bust, and yet there's something lacking. And when we discovered that we're gonna make the glaze with blackberries in it, that totally changed the blackberry donut. It is a super hit today. With the blackberry glaze on it, it makes it almost a gooey, crunchy type of idea. And that one I love to stick in the freezer for about an hour and a half to 2 hours just to get the outside good and cold and almost crunchy, and bite into it. It's better than ice cream. And I'm not a sweets guy. We dip a glazed donut into Ghirardelli dark chocolate, just one face of it, or I've done it with the Mexican donut as well. And that is a good donut because it's really good chocolate. The worst thing about that, when the chocolate gets cold, it will break off if you bite into it, so it can break apart. Some people really like that, other people don't. So if you don't like that, just pop it in the microwave, warm it up to where it's soft, and then you can have a gooey face. The maple bacon donut, we take a maple donut, and when the glaze is still sticky, not hard yet, we dip it into a pile of real bacon bits and pull it out. Whatever sticks with it stays with it. And it is so good. It's a complete breakfast all in one bite. Over Christmas time, we do chocolate peppermint. We take the chocolate donut and just sprinkle crushed peppermint over top. So it really gives it a nice peppermint chocolate flavor. That's a great festive flavor. The chocolate, it's dark chocolate, but there is a little bit of dairy in it. I think if you look in the ingredients, there's a little dairy in that. So that would be the only one. That and the maple bacon are the only ones of our donuts that are not vegan. Interestingly, my son Quentin is going to open up his donut trailer next Monday, is what his plan is. He's working on that right now, finishing everything up, and I'm planning on going up there to be there, and he wants me to be there the first day they're doing anything.
I will say that the customers' comments and what they say really gives us a boost. I mean, at least it does to me. I always enjoy hearing compliments or anything. It really brightens our day, at least mine.
Because sometimes we really don't feel like being there at the moment. Definitely, we're praying for them even when they don't know it.
It tends to be a lot more consistent now than what it was before as far as shape and size, but every batch is still its own unique creation. Some batches you get a little bit softer, some you get a little tougher, but they still, I think the consistency when you're biting into it is very close to the same as what our very first ones were. And every morning before we leave, I pray and I ask God to bless each customer, each person that will have a donut that day. I don't know what they're facing. Sometimes a customer will share what they're facing and we can pray for them right there. We've done that multiple times. But everyone is being prayed for, whether they know it or not. And it just helps to keep our focus on, we are here to be God's hands and feet and God's taste buds, if you please, to bless others. And that's our goal.
Jesus loves you, and he has a plan for you. You have a purpose here. Stay strong.
And you're not alone in what you're facing. There is other people that have faced this before or that are facing it at the moment. You're not alone. There's nothing new under the sun, as the Bible would put it.
So we're open 3 days a week through the winter. Wednesday we're in Boring, Thursday Clackamas, Friday Estacada. Through the summer months we also do some markets, Gresham Saturday Market on Saturday and Hillsborough Market on Tuesday. But the best bet to figure out where we are at any time is to go onto our website at www.grammysdonuts.com and check us out on our calendar. Click the Find Us button and you'll see where we are. If there's nothing on the calendar, we're not making donuts that day. If you buy 5, you get 1 free. If you buy 5, you get 1 free.